And welcome to the sixth round of the World Pro Racing Seat TCR Championship, the final round of this summer championship by the World Pro Racing. Today, round 6 is at Watkins Glen Racetrack. We're going very soon to the briefing, and 5 minutes for the briefing for all the drivers, following which today we have a 30-minute practice, 15-minute qualifications, and then we have an endurance race of 60 minutes for this final round of the Seat TCR Championship. Would like to thank our sponsors, which are GT Omega Racing, 3D Rep, SimNews.tv, and Textor Distribution, together with Melita. The standings right now for this championship are Daniela Pasquale is leading the championship with 166 points, followed by Danilo Santoro, 149 points, and then in third place we have Luigi Di Lorenzo with 113 points. All three drivers are from the Morning Stars Academy. So today, after this race, we're going to see who will be the winner of this summer championship, and the podium winners will get great gifts from GT Omega Racing and 3D Rep. So we're going for a short commercial break, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Gigabit Internet issa f'Malta. Gawdi mill-Giga Power biss mal-Melita Flexi.
And we're back. So together with me today, I made Dream together with me, Justin and George. George will be also our live steward today. Justin, obviously, the mind behind all our technology and live streaming. So very soon we'll be going for a briefing, but a short update what's going to happen this what races we have also this week. Later on this week, on Thursday, we have the Tatus Team Challenge, which is going to be next Thursday. And on Friday, we have the 7th round of the Porsche Championship. So also follow us this week, because we have a busy week with races. Very soon we'll be going for briefing. We'll be giving the normal briefing to our drivers, and then at 8 o'clock we go live with our official practice session. So in 1 minute, we'll be going for the briefing for the final round of this World Pro Racing Summer SEAT TCR Championship. So, good evening, everybody. Good evening to all the drivers and our briefing channel. Welcome to this final 6th round of the World Pro Racing WPR World Pro Racing SEAT TCR Championship at Watkins Glen Track. So, I would like once more to thank our sponsors, GT Omega Racing, to the Rep Melita and Chevron Creative Solutions, together with SimNews.tv. So, briefing for today, round 6, to all the drivers. We have a practice session of 30 minutes, qualification session of 15 minutes, and then we have an endurance race today of 60 minutes. It's important that all drivers go to their briefing channel. Following this briefing in our channel, everybody has to remain on Discord, so that if we need to issue any penalty, live penalty, please be there so that we can talk to you directly. During the practice and qualifications, you cannot go back to pits in the middle of the track, just disappear. So you have to proceed to the pits like in real life racing. Not doing this can result in a penalty, 10-second penalty. The same also applies for the end of both races. You need to proceed to the pits. Sessions, as usual, won't be restarted unless there is a huge pile-up or a server disconnection. And it's important to watch out for the first few corners of the race, at the start especially. One important thing, please do observe the blue flags. Our stewards will be also watching for heavy shortcuts. These will be penalized with a 10-second penalty unless you obviously take a shortcut or go over curbs or out of track to avoid an incident. Causing an incident in pits due obviously to some careless driving, you'll be given a drive-through penalty, which has to be done within the next 2 laps. If you don't do that drive-through penalty within the 2 laps, you will be given a 10-second penalty. Getting back to track, it's important if you go off track, please pay attention how to rejoin track, because that will carry also a penalty with it. No dive bombing and it's permitted. We might issue, as I said, drive-through penalties during the race. Not pitting during the pit. Today we don't have any pit. Swearing, we don't accept any swearing, and obviously shouting during the practice qualification. If you have any complaints after the race, please contact us, me, Justin, and we'll obviously communicate through Discord with us, and we'll have a look to your complaint, and obviously then we take the final decision together with our steward. Final decisions, as I said, are done by the steward. It's important that you record your own replays so that if something happens and we don't have a replay, or some accident happens and we don't have a replay, we would be able to ask also your replay file. If you don't obey any penalties, obviously it can result even disqualification, and so please do observe the penalties of the steward. At the end of the race, like I said before, please proceed to pits like until the time has elapsed, like any other race. Make sure that you have Discord on push to talk, so you avoid any disturbance to other drivers on Discord. So, anybody has any questions? So that's great. It seems that nobody has any questions. We're going then for a short break, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Gigabit Internet issa f'Malta. Gawdi mill-Giga Power biss mal-Melita Flexi.
So welcome back to this last round of the World Pro Racing CRTCR Summer Championship. Very soon, in 9 minutes, we're going to start with our official practice session, which will go on for 30 minutes, followed by a 15-minute practice session. And today we have an endurance race of 1 hour. So that is an endurance race of 60 minutes plus 1 lap. We remind you also the other races we have this week, later on this week. On Thursday, we have the Tatus Team Championship. And on Friday, we have the 7th round of the Porsche Championship. So be with us, join us for these races. We'll also see definitely interesting race on Thursday, where we have various teams who have subscribed to this race. And on Friday also, as usual, definitely another interesting race, the 7th round of the Porsche Championship. We'll see if anybody will manage to get closer to Hani Al Sabti. So we're going live now with the last few minutes of the unofficial practice, because we have drivers already on the server, obviously practicing for this evening's race. We have on track right now, there is Omar Barbar and Daniele Pasquali. We have also Cyril Sossi and Gianluigi Conrao together with Nelson Abrunosa. Then we have also Michael Merce and Sandro Zara and Pieter Grobler, who are still in pits. We are following now Cyril Sossi in this unofficial practice. Official practice will be starting in approximately 7 minutes, and we'll have 30 minutes, so from 8 o'clock till half 8 of official practice. So as I said, we're following right now official, unofficial practice, and a quick roundup of the placings of the SEAT TCR Championship. Today is the last round. So before the last round, the placings are as follows. In first place, we have Daniele Pasquali with 166 points, followed by Danilo Santoro with 149 points and Luigi Di Lorenzo with 113 points. These three drivers are three of them from the Morning Stars Academy. We'll see today, obviously, who will be the winner of this championship. Definitely Danilo is possible also for him to reach and obviously even go all out. Take the top place in this championship from Daniele, but we need to see if Daniele will join us, because till now I don't see. Yes, he's actually on the server now. The problem is that Danilo is not here, so we'll see what's going to happen today. In this case, if Danilo doesn't turn up, it means that this SEAT TCR Championship by World Pro Racing will be won by Daniele Pasquali. So we're 2 minutes away from the start of the official practice. We have 30 minutes then of official practice, followed by a 15-minute qualification and a 1-hour endurance race plus 1 lap here today at Watkins Glen Racetrack. So, official practice is now on. We have 30 minutes. Let's see who's gonna be the fastest driver in this practice session today here at Watkins Glen track. We have 10 drivers on track. We have already Daniele, Cyril, Gianluigi, Pieter, Omar, and Luigi Di Lorenzo. In the pits, we still have Danilo Santoro, Michael Mercia, Anna Brunosa, and Sandro Zara. We're now following the outlap of Daniele, following which we'll see his first time lap today, and we'll see what time he will manage to do in his first lap of today. So we're gonna see very soon the first official times of the drivers we have on track. We have Cyril, Sosi, Gianluigi Corrao, Pieter Grobler, Omar Barbara, Luigi Di Lorenzo, Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, and Michael Mercia together with Danilo Santoro. And here we see the first official time set by Daniele Pasquali, 1:12.719. Followed by Omar Barbara, 1:13.220, and Cyril Sosi, 1:13.362. There is also Pieter Grobler, who set his first time with 1:13.677. We see also now Nelson Abrunosa, who set his first time with 1:13.441. We see that Daniele managed to do a great time with a 1:12.719. We see if he managed to better his own time, and we'll see if any of the other drivers will manage to go down to the 1:12s. Here we see now we're seeing Daniele completing very soon this lap. And yes, he managed to make a better time with a 1:12.678. So Daniele managed to do a better time than his first lap. Let's see also Omar, if he managed to get down from the 1:13.220 he had. Doesn't seem so. And Cyril Sosi also, he's on a 1:13.362. See also now Sandro Zara, who currently has a 1:13.641. We're gonna see now following Sandro Zara. Also, see if he managed to do a better time. So we see also that Danilo Santoro set his first time with a 1:13.035, and also we have Luigi Di Lorenzo with the third best time with a 1:13.216. We remind you that this is the official practice of the sixth and last round of the World Pro Racing SEAT TCR Championship. Later on this week we have more races for you. On Thursday you can follow us for the Tatus Team Challenge, and also on Friday we have the Porsche 7th round, the Porsche Championship. The winner of this championship of the Porsche will also have the opportunity to go and drive 6 or 7 different Porsches on the Intercity track at Istanbul. So it's a great opportunity for the winner of this championship. Currently leading the championship is currently the leader of the Porsche Championship is Hani Al Sabti. We'll see if he'll manage to seal this championship on the next race, or if somebody else will manage to catch up and also try to contend the Porsche Championship. We're now following Sandro Zara in this lap. Currently leading this practice session leaderboard is Daniele Pasquali with the 1:12.678. Now we have all 10 drivers on track except for Pieter, who's still in pit, maybe changing some of his setup to try to better his time. But as we can see, within practically 1 second, 1.5 seconds, we have all the 10 drivers of today. So this will augur to have a great race. And we'll see some competitive driving between the 10 drivers of today. Now following Michael Mercia. Let's see if he managed to make a better time in this lap. His best time till now in this practice session is 1 minute 14 seconds, .352. Currently he's not making a better time than he had. We'll see also maybe in his next lap. And now we see also Omar, who managed to do a 1:12.766. He's the second driver to go into the 1:12s. As we have Daniele, who's still leading this practice session with a 1:12. 6, 7, 8. So we'll see now who from the other drivers will manage to go into the 112s. So we see now Omar Barbaro who started another lap. We'll see if he'll manage to make a better time and go nearer to Daniele. He's currently less than 1/10 from Daniele Pasquali. So we see that Omar is on a better lap right now. Let's see if he'll manage to make a better time than Daniele. He managed to make a better time than his previous best time, but not yet. He beat Daniele Pasquali in this practice session. Obviously the times were in this session mean nothing for the race, but definitely can give us an indication about the drivers and their times for their qualification session. So we'll follow now Daniele, possibly also on board, so that we'll see some also basic statistics on braking and gears, shifting. Daniele, who's currently leading this practice session with a time of 1:12.678, followed very closely by Omar Barbaro with 1:12.707. The other drivers till now didn't manage to go into the 112 bracket, so we'll see. We have still 16 minutes left in this practice session. We'll see if any other driver will manage to go down to the 112s. We can see now that Daniele has a better time when we look at his sectors. We'll see very soon in this final corner now going on to the finish line, and now Daniele went into the pits. So his current best time is 12:678. We follow now Nelson Abrunosa. Go a little bit on board with Nelson to see him do this next lap here today at Watkins Glen Racetrack. So now we see that we have 4 drivers who are in the pits, and the rest are still on track. We have 13 minutes left from this practice session. This session is being led currently by Daniele Pasquale with a time of 1:12.678, followed closely by Omar Barbara with a 1:12.707, and the third best time right now is a 1:13.035. We follow now Daniele Santoro in this lap of his. Currently Danilo Santoro has a time of a 1:13.035. We'll see in his next lap if he'll manage to go into the 1:12s. So we saw that Daniele Pasquale did a 1:12.623. He managed to better his own time. Very soon we'll see also Danilo. He'll manage to go into the 1:12s like his teammate Daniele. Remind you that both Daniele and Danilo come from the Morning Stars Academy team. So we see that the Danilo is back on. Did Daniele disappear from this area? Did I see right? Yes, actually Daniele disappeared from the server. I think he got disconnected. So now we follow Danilo, and Danilo managed to do a 1:12.693. We'll see. If Daniele will be back, I think definitely he will be back for the possibly the remaining practice session and also the qualifications for today's 6th and final round of this World Pro Racing SEAT Lesia Championship. So we have 9 minutes remaining from this official practice of today's race. After 9 minutes of practice, we'll be going for 15 minutes of official qualifications, and then we have an endurance race of 60 minutes today, plus 1 lap for this 6th and final round of the SEAT TCR Championship. We're going for a short commercial break and we'll be back with you shortly.
Gigabit Internet issa f'Malta. Gawdi mill-Giga Power biss mal-Melita Flexi.
So we're back. 7 minutes now remaining in this session. Leading the session is Daniele Pasquale with a 1:12.623, followed closely by his teammate Danilo with a 1:12.693 and Omar Barbara with a 1:12.707. And we see also Luigi Di Lorenzo in the 1:12 brackets with a 1:12.915. Then we have Nelson Abrunosa with a 1:13.059, Peter Grobler with 1:13.111, Gianluigi Corrao with 1:13.121, Cyril Sossi with a 1:13.362, Sandro Zara with a 1:13.401, and Michael Meccia with a 1:13.860. We're now following Omar in this lap, when we have now 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining of practice. Currently Omar on this lap, he's not doing a better performance than his best lap till now, over 1:12.707. We'll see his time of this lap very soon as he goes to the final straight, and he does a 1:12.937, so that's not a better time than his 1:12.707. So we can see that Omar Barbara is doing a better time on this lap than his best lap. We'll see if he'll manage to keep this 1/10 of a second till the final line. He's actually running 1/10 better. Let's see what time. And yes, Omar Barbara managed to do a 1:12.514, and Daniele Pasquale managed to do a 1:12.227. So we see that Omar managed to better his time, going into the second best time in this practice session, and Daniele Pasquale also managed to do a 1:12.227. Danilo Santoro is currently in the pits. He has the third best time with a 1:12.693, and Luigi Di Lorenzo is currently doing his lap now with a 1:12.915. So we're now 3 minutes away from the end of this practice session, with almost half the cars on track. We have 6 cars on track right now, and we can see that it's like from the best time to the last time, it's a difference of 1.6 seconds. So we might see a good race today, especially with the front pack, where you can see they are very near to each other. So we'll see what the outcome of the official qualification will be, and then the 60-minute race plus 1 lap of today. As I said earlier, the times in the practice session obviously don't count that much for the race, but it can give you a guideline of what we can see for qualifications very soon, within 2 minutes. So we're 1 minute away from the end of this practice session of today, the 6th round and final round of the World Pro Racing SEAT TCR Championship, our summer championship this year, which is currently led by Daniele Pasquale, followed by Danilo and Luigi in third place. Today we'll see who will be the winner of great gifts, thanks to our sponsors GT Omega Racing and 3D Rep. Would like to thank also all other sponsors who are also Melita, Chevron Creative Solutions, and KSL. So, practice session is now over. Obviously, we're in overtime, so that we'll see. All cars on track finish their current lap. Best time in this practice session was by Daniele Pasquale with a 1:12.227, followed by Omar Barbara with a 1:12.514, and the third best time was a 1:12.693 by Danilo Santoro. In fourth best time is Luigi Di Lorenzo with a 1:12.915. Then we have Nelson Abrunaza, Pieter Grobler, Gianluigi Corrao, Cyril Sosi, Sandro Zara, and Michael Mechia. So, practice session is over. We're going now very soon for the 15 minutes of qualifications. Short commercial break and we'll be back with you shortly.
Gigabit Internet issa f'Malta. Gawdi mill-Giga Power biss mal-Melita Flexi.
So, we're back with the official practice now. It's been running already for, official qualifications. It's been running already for 1 minute. We see that Daniele Pasquale was the first driver out on his, we follow him now on his out lap. Actually, all drivers now are on track. So very soon we'll start seeing their first official times. In this 6th round of the World Pro Racing Seat TCR Championship. So we're gonna follow now Daniele for this lap. We're on board with Daniele and we'll see what time he'll manage to do on his first timed lap. So we see that Daniele managed to do a 1:12.939 in his first lap. We're still waiting for the other drivers to do the first times, and we see now that Luigi De Lorenzo did a 1:12.732, Gianluigi Corrao with a 1:13.164, and Sandro Zara with a 1:13.164, and Omar Barbara now managed to do a 1:12.278. So currently Omar Barbara is leading this qualification session. Omar Barbara, who is from GT Omega RPM Esports team, with the best time till now in his first lap of this official qualification session. We have the second best time, who's Danilo Santoro with a 1:12.508, and then we have Luigi De Lorenzo with a 1:12.732 and Daniele Pasquale with a 1:12.939. We see that actually all drivers managed to do a lap time, but we're still waiting, I think, for the first lap time from Nelson Abrunose and Peter Grobler. Daniele Pasquale now managed to do a 1:12.355, so he went up to second position right now, and we'll see what Omar Barbara will manage to do on this lap, if he'll manage to do a better time from the 1:12.278. but it seems that he didn't manage to do a better time. We're following now Daniele, who has the second best time with a 1:12.355. So we see that Daniele Pasquali went into pits now. And we follow Nelson Abrunosa on his lap, who currently has a time of a 1:13.292, giving him the 7th place in this qualification of today's race. Daniele is back on track. We see also Sandro Zara, who has the 9th best time till now with a 1:13.329. So we see that Omar Barbara is currently leading this qualification session with a 1:12.278, followed by Daniele Pasquali with a 1:12.355 and Danilo Santoro with a 1:12.508. Now we have Omar Barbara, who went back to pits, and we have Daniele and Danilo on track. We'll see if they'll manage to better the times. So they managed to get the top post in this qualification. We see Daniele now, who's on his lap, and we'll see if he'll manage to beat the best time of Omar Barbara to go in pole position in this qualification session. So we saw that Daniele did a 1:12.7, so it's not a better time than his second best time he has today till now in this qualification session. We're 7 minutes away from the end of the session. Being led currently by Omar Barbara with a 1:12.278. Omar Barbara is followed by the 3 drivers of the Morning Stars Academy, who are Daniele Pasquali with a 1:12.355, Danilo Santoro with a 1:12.508, and Luigi De Lorenzo with a 1:12.579. Then we have Gianluigi Corrao with a 1:13.164, Pieter Grobler with a 1:13.252, Nelson Abrunosa with a 1:13.292, Cyril Sossi with a 1:13.298, Sandro Zara with a 1:13.329, and Michael Meccia with a 1:13.719. So with 5 minutes left in this qualification session, we see that currently Omar Barbara is in pole position with a 1:12.278, followed by Daniele Pasquale with a 1:12.348. And in the third place, Danilo Santoro with a 1:12.508. Let's see Daniele, but Daniele now is going back to pits, so he will not register time in this his last lap. We're following now Danilo Santoro, who has the third best time, currently at a 1:12.508, who's now starting his lap. And let's see if he'll manage to do a better time in this lap of his. Daniele is quickly also back on track. Now all drivers are back on track, obviously, for the last 4 minutes of this qualification session. Current pole position driver is Omar Barbara from GT Omega RPM Esport team with a 1:12.278, followed by the three Morningstar Academy drivers, who are Daniele Pasquale, Danilo Santoro, and Luigi Di Lorenzo. Fifth best time is from Sandro Zara, followed by Nelson Abrunosa, Gianluigi Parrao, Pieter Grobler, Cyril Sosi, and Michael Mechia. So we'll see Daniele, who's currently on a flying lap, and Luigi Di Lorenzo. Let's see Luigi now if he'll manage to do a better time. It doesn't seem it's gonna be a better time than his previous best lap. Let's follow Daniele in the last few corners if he'll manage to better his time, so that's to take pole position in this qualification session. We're 2.5 minutes away from the end of the session. Let's see in this lap what Daniele will manage to do in his next lap. He'll manage to grab pole position from Omar Barbara. We see that Cyril Sosi now took the fifth best time with a 1:12.808, and Sandro Zara now in sixth position with a 1:12.855, and followed by Gianluigi Parrao, Nelson Abrunosa, Pieter Grobler, and Michael Mechia. We see now that our top 6 drivers are all in the 1:12s, followed very closely by Gianluigi Parrao, who has a 1:13.001, and then we have Nelson Abrunosa, Pieter Grobler, and Michael Mechia. With 1 minute 15 seconds left in this qualification session, Omar Barbara is in pits. We see also Daniele going to pits, and Danilo also. We see Luigi Di Lorenzo, who's still on track. Let's see now. We think that the drivers definitely will be back on track for the last try to better their time in this qualification session. So we see Omar Barbara still in pits. Daniele Pasquale is out trying to snatch pole position from Omar. Seems that Omar won't be back on track to try to better his time. So now we see Daniele in his last possible chance to make a better time. So currently Omar Barbara is on pole position with a 1:12.278. The session is over, so Omar Barbara got pole position in the CIR Championship 6th round here at Watkins Glen track with a 1:12.278, followed by Daniele Pasquale with a 1:12.348, Danilo Santoro with a 1:12.419, Luigi Di Lorenzo with a 1:12.579, and now we'll see Luigi in his last corner. He's going back to pit, so his time is a 1:12.579. 5th place Cyril Sosi, Sandro Zara in 6th, Nelson Abrunosa in 7th, Gianluigi Corrao in 8th, and Pieter Gobler 9th place, and Michael Merci at 10th place. So here we see pole position Omar Barbara, GT Omega RPM Sport Team, followed by the 3 Morningstar Academy drivers Daniele Pasquale, Danilo Santoro, and Luigi Di Lorenzo. So we're going for a short commercial break, and we'll be back with you with the start of the race very soon.
Gigabit Internet issa f'Malta. Gawdi mill-Giga Power biss mal-Melita Flexi.
And we're back. We're 1 minute 20 seconds away from the start of this 1 hour race plus 1 lap for the 6th and final round of the summer CIR Championship, brought to you by World Pro Racing. We have Omar Barbara from GT Omega RPM Sport Team in pole position, followed by the 3 Morningstar Academy drivers Daniele Pasquale, Danilo Santoro, Luigi Di Lorenzo. In 5th place we have Cyril Sosi, 6th Sandro Zara, 7th, Nelson Abrunosa. 8th, Gianluigi Corrao. 9th, Pieter Grobler. 10th, Michael Mercia. So, 15 seconds away. We wait for the lights to go on. The lights are going on. It's gonna start soon. Lights are out and here we go. And this is the start of a 1-hour race, the final race of the CRTCR Championship brought to you by World Pro Racing. We see that in the first corner, Omar Barbara is still on the lead, followed by Daniele, Danilo and Luigi. Very clean first corner by all the drivers. So we see Danilo, who is in 3rd position right now, and we see there one of the Morningstar Academy team drivers who's off track slightly. So we see that Omar Barbara is already taking a good lead on the 3 Morningstar Academy drivers, Danilo, Daniele and Luigi. Let's wait for the first lap so that we'll manage to get the positions. We see that Omar Barbara, as I said, still maintaining 1st position, followed by Danilo Santoro, Daniele Pasquali, Luigi De Lorenzo, Sandro Zara, Nelson Abrunosa, Cyril Sosi, Gianluigi Corrao, Pieter Grobler and Michael Mercia. We see that Luigi De Lorenzo is very, very close to Daniele. And also Nelson Abrunosa is very, very close to Sandro Zara. But we see that Luigi De Lorenzo is actually very close to his teammate, Daniele. So we saw that unfortunately it seems that Pieter Grobler had some kind of accident at the back of the grid and he unfortunately crashed. He's now back to pits, possibly repairing the cars and rejoining the race later. We see Cyril Sosi now, who is just behind Sandro Zara. We see Cyril, who's trying to affect Sandro here. We'll see Sandro Zara still keeping his position, but Cyril not giving up, and he's still following closely Sandro for the next possible move to overtake Sandro Zara. So Cyril Sosi is back, trying to get closer again to Sandro. And Sandro managed to increase slightly the gap with Cyril, but we see that Sandro is also trying to close the gap with Nelson Abrunosa, and Danilo Santoro is keeping a constant gap with Omar Barbara, who's leading this race till now. So we see that Danilo Santoro is closing up the gap on Omar Barbara. Possibly Omar did some mistake here, and Danilo is just behind Omar. We'll see if Danilo will go for the first position on Omar Barbara. We'll see them now side by side. Danilo's on the outer side, Omar is on the inside, and Danilo Santoro took first place from Omar Barbara in this race right now. So Danilo is now currently leading the race, followed by Omar Barbara, and we see then Luigi Di Lorenzo and Daniele Pasquali in fourth position. Nelson Abrunosa is in fifth position, but we see now Cyril closing up the gap with Sandro, and also Luigi Di Lorenzo is now closing up the gap with Omar Barbara. Something possibly wrong with Omar, because he was keeping a constant gap from the Morningstar Academy drivers, but now all of a sudden Danilo Santoro managed to take over Omar Barbara, and we see now Luigi Di Lorenzo, he's just behind Omar Barbara and definitely will be trying to attack Omar in this lap, possibly also in the next corner. And there we see them side by side. Luigi Di Lorenzo side by side with Omar Barbara. We'll see, yes, and Luigi Di Lorenzo in fact took second place now from Omar Barbara. So Danilo Santoro is leading the race, followed by Luigi Di Lorenzo, and in third place Omar Barbara. So, current positions, Danilo Santoro followed by Luigi Di Lorenzo. Danilo Santoro is now increasing the gap on Luigi, and in third place we see Omar Barbara. Fourth place, Daniele Pasquali. Fifth place, Nelson Abrunosa. Sixth place, Sandro Zara, followed by Cyril Sossi, Michael Mercia, and Gianluigi Corrao. Cyril Sossi is now close to Sandro Zara. He never gave up on Sandro. Closing up again the gap with Sandro Zara. Cyril will definitely get closer and try to get the sixth position from Sandro. Sandro Zara is not an easy driver to overtake. He's quite good at defending also. So we'll definitely see a good possible battle here. But we see that now Sandro is increasing the gap on Cyril. Maybe Cyril will manage to catch up again with Sandro later on in this race. So Danilo Santoro is in first place now, increasing the gap on Luigi Di Lorenzo. So Luigi Di Lorenzo in second place, and Omar Barbara in third place, followed also by Daniele Pasquali. Daniele Pasquali, we remind you, he's the current leader of the championship. Danilo Santoro is now leading the race. If this will be the case, possibly still Daniele will win this championship, but we still need to see what's going to happen. We still have 52 minutes in this race, so anything can happen in these remaining 52 minutes. So we see that the gaps between the first four drivers are quite constant right now. So they're possibly running also on very near lap times, similar lap times on each other. Then we have still Cyril following Sandro Zara, keeping the gap to 4/10 of a second. Let's see if Cyril will once more try to catch up with Sandro, who's keeping also the gap quite constant from Cyril. So we'll see what's going to happen in the next 50 minutes of this race, where definitely at some point all drivers have to pit. Definitely they have possible different strategies, so we'll see if these strategies will work in their favor or against them. We remind you that these cars are running here with a 2 times tire wear, so definitely at one point we'll start seeing cars losing more traction. That will mean that they need to go in the right time in the pits to change their tires, refuel, and continue the race and finish with the optimum possible on the tires, especially because that we saw in previous endurance races that tire wear was quite crucial for certain drivers and placings. So, we remind you, following the 6th and final round of the Summer TCR Championship brought to you by World Pro Racing here at Watkins Glen Racetrack. Currently, Danilo Santoro in the lead of this race, which is a 60-minute race plus 1 lap. Luigi De Lorenzo is in 2nd place, and in 3rd place we see Omar Barbara. 4th place also our current championship leader Daniele Pasquali, followed by Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, Cyril Sosi, Michael Mercia, and Gianluigi Corrao. Unfortunately, Pieter Grobler had a huge accident in the beginning of the race where he spun his car and crashed, and it means that he retired from the race of today. So we have now 47 minutes left in this race of today. Danilo leading, followed by Luigi and Omar. 4th place is Daniele Pasquale, who's currently the championship leader in this TCR Championship by World Pro Racing. We're now following Michael Mercia, who's in 8th place. Michael Mercia has his first championship with World Pro Racing. Definitely he's improving from one race to the other. He's also a quite new driver in sim racing, so it's good, and we're happy to see drivers that join our championships and obviously improve their skills through the races we organize. We remind you that later on this week we have another 2 races for you. Thursday we have the Tatus Team Challenge. Definitely it's going to be an interesting race where we're going to see several teams that registered battling it out for the top podium placing. And Friday we have the 7th round of the Porsche Championship brought to you also by World Pro Racing. We see now Cyril Sosi, who's back on Sandro Zara. Definitely taking his slipstream here now. We'll see if Cyril will manage to overtake Sandro, or we see if Sandro will defend his position as he usually does quite well. But as we see now, Sandro managed to once more increase the gap with Cyril Sossi. So up front we have Danilo Santoro followed by Luigi Di Lorenzo, Omar Barbara and Daniele Pasquali. We see that the gaps, Danilo Santoro is increasing the gap on Luigi, but Omar is actually closing down a little bit slowly the gap on Luigi, and we see also Daniele Pasquali who's closing up on Omar Barbara. Let's see what the next 45 minutes will offer in this race today. Definitely anything can happen in these remaining minutes of this race. So now that Omar Barbara is closing the gap with Luigi Di Lorenzo, and he's now definitely in Luigi's slipstream. Let's see Omar if he'll be attacking Luigi in this lap or in the following lap on the coming few corners. You see that Omar is very close to Luigi now, and we see them there side by side. Omar Barbara on the outside with Luigi, but Luigi manages to defend well, and he actually increased also the gap on Omar. So we see that actually Danilo Santoro is increasing his leading gap, who has now more than 2 seconds lead on Luigi Di Lorenzo, and we see Omar Barbara who's now in slipstream behind Luigi once more, and Daniele Pasquali who's a second away from Omar Barbara, then followed by Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, Cyril Sossi, Michael Merci and Gianluigi Corrao. So Danilo Santoro now in first place, followed by Luigi Di Lorenzo and Omar Barbara in third place. We see that now Luigi Di Lorenzo increased the gap on Omar, and Daniele Pasquali is quite constant with the gap, keeping up with Omar Barbara at approximately 1 second away. The first four drivers show a constant lap time right now, thus keeping their gaps very, very stable between them. You see also that now Sandro Zara has increased the gap on Cyril Sossi to almost 2 seconds. So now he can obviously relax more once that Cyril is not on his back yet. And now we see that Danilo, Luigi and Daniele, all three Morningstar Academy drivers went to pits, which is 40 minutes from the end of the race, that is 20 minutes into the race. We see all the three Morningstar Academy drivers in the pits. So now Omar Barbara is in the lead, and we'll need to see on which strategy is Oman running here today. We see that Danilo Santoro is out, first one out of the pits, I think, followed by Daniele, and third driver from the Morningstar Academy out from the pits is Luigi Di Lorenzo. So we have the three Morningstar Academy drivers who did their pits already. And now the standings are as follows: Omar Barbara leading the race, currently leading the race, followed by Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, Cyril Sossi, Danilo Santoro, and Michael Mercia, Luigi Di Lorenzo. See, now Luigi Di Lorenzo is side by side with Michael Mercia. And now Luigi Di Lorenzo is in 6th place, and we see now Daniele Pasquali, who's coming up to Michael Mercia. You see them here also side by side. All down this straight. And there Daniele Pasquali passed also Michael Mercia. And now we see Omar Barbara going into the pits. Let's see if his strategy of keeping out in a couple of laps will give him a possible advantage and gain a possible position on the Morningstar Academy drivers, who are already coming down the straight, if I see well. And Omar is leaving the pits now. But if I see very well, all three drivers from the Morningstar Academy have passed now. So that means that Omar Barbara actually lost a position in this pit stop. So, current positions now: Sandro Zara in 1st place, 2nd place Cyril Sossi, 3rd place Danilo Santoro, 4th place Luigi Di Lorenzo, followed by Daniele Pasquali, and in 6th place Omar Barbara. We see that Omar Barbara lost a position to Daniele. 7th place Nelson Abrunosa, 8th place Michael Mercia, 9th place Gianluigi Corrao. You see also that Danilo Santoro now registered the fastest lap. You see that after these pit stops, actually Omar Barbara lost quite a lot, as now he's trailing Daniele Pasquale by 3.4 seconds. That means that he lost from Luigi Di Lorenzo almost 4 seconds or more in this pit stop. So even pit stop strategies definitely in endurance races can play a very, very big game. You see now Danilo Santoro and Cyril Sossi. That was quite an easy overtake to do. Obviously also with Cyril Sossi giving way to Danilo, knowing he's a faster driver than him. So that was definitely an easy overtake. Now we see that Luigi Di Lorenzo is coming up to Cyril, and also Cyril very nicely gives way to Danilo Santoro when he knows he's definitely has a faster driver behind him, so he doesn't stress so much to give him. And now it's the time of Daniele Pasquale. Yet another nice overtake there. So Sandro Zara is leading the race. Now we see Omar Barbara overtaking Cyril. Cyril very clean in this race, giving the space to faster drivers instead of engaging into a possible battle of defending and attacking. But that is what clean and decent racing is, giving way to faster drivers who are coming up behind you. So current positions: Sandro Zara in first place, and we see now Danilo Santoro coming up to Sandro Zara. Once more also Sandro giving way to Danilo, knowing he's a faster driver than him. At the back we see also Nelson Abrunosa, who passed Cyril Sossi. And now we have Danilo Santoro leading the race, Sandro Zara in second place, Luigi Di Lorenzo in third place, Daniele Pasquale in fourth place, and Omar Barbara in fifth place. Now we see Cyril Sossi, who's going to pits. Luigi Di Lorenzo in second place, Daniele Pasquale in third, and Omar Barbara in fourth place. So we have obviously now some drivers who didn't pit yet. I reckon Sandro Zara didn't pit yet. Michael Machia didn't pit. Yeah, okay, Sandro just did his first and possibly only first pit stop of today. We saw that the front four drivers did quite an early pit stop, which was like 20 minutes into the race. All other drivers went into pit almost in half the time of the race of today. So we'll see now at the end what that will mean on obviously tire wear of our top 4 drivers in this race right now. So, from a quick calculation, if the positions remain like this till the end of the race, still Daniele Pasquali is the possible winner of this championship, as the winner of the race will get 25 points, second place will get 18, third place will get 15 points. So that will mean that with Daniele in third place getting 15 points, we will go up to 181 points, and Danilo Santoro in first place having 25 points, he will go up to 174 points. So that will mean still that Daniele will win this championship. So you see now that the gaps between the cars are quite constant, means that they're running on possibly the top 4 drivers, let's put it this way, on the same lap times, so they have almost the same race pace. We'll see what will happen in the remaining 28 minutes, because anything will happen. As we said, the top 4 drivers pitted quite early, which they pitted in after 20 minutes of racing, so that could affect also their performance, especially because we have a 2 times tire wear here for the second part of the race, towards the end of the race with the tires. So, with 27 minutes remaining in this race, positions right now, Danilo Santoro leading the race, followed by Luigi Di Lorenzo with a 2-second gap, another 2-second gap to Daniele Pasquali, and a 3-second gap to Omar Barbara. Then there is Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, Cyril Sossi, Michael Merci, and Gianluigi Corrao. So here we see that Danilo Santoro still leading the race, Luigi Di Lorenzo in second place, and we see Gianluigi Corrao, which has been lapped by both Danilo and Luigi. For some strange reason, he was trying to once more challenge Luigi, but obviously Luigi is a faster driver than Gianluigi Corrao, and now Luigi Di Lorenzo is now taking a good lead on Gianluigi. We see that in third place there is Daniele Pasquali and Omar Barbara. Omar Barbara has closed down the gap to Daniele Pasquali. Let's see what will happen if they manage to reach and come close to Daniele. We see once more Gianluigi Corrao, who's on the back of Luigi Di Lorenzo. That's quite strange. Luigi Di Lorenzo is definitely a faster driver than Gianluigi. And there we saw Gianluigi losing his car and giving some piece of pint to Luigi Di Lorenzo that he won't be challenged from a lap driver who is Gianluigi. So we're 23 minutes away from the end of this race. Obviously it's a 60-minute race plus one lap. Danilo Santoro is still leading the race. Luigi Di Lorenzo is in second place. Third place, Daniele Pasquali. And we see Omar Barbara that slowly he's catching up on Daniele. We'll see. He managed to get the third place from Daniele to get a podium in this last round, final round, sixth round of the World Pro Racing SEAT TCR Summer Championship 2018. So we see that Omar Barbara is closing the gap on Daniele Pasquali. Obviously enough, we see also the gap increasing between Luigi Di Lorenzo and Daniele Pasquali. So now Omar is 1 second away from Daniele, down from a 3.4 second gap following their pit stops. Let's see if Omar will keep on catching up to Daniele and possibly grab the third place from Daniele Pasquali. We see that there are no close encounters right now during the race. We see that now we have Nelson Abrunosa in the pits. Sandro Zaras in 6th place, Cyril in 7th, Michael in 8th, and Gianluigi Corrao in 9th. We see also Gianluigi having some fun with Luigi Di Lorenzo, once Luigi Di Lorenzo left Gianluigi, but we see Gianluigi taking some slipstream of Luigi Di Lorenzo and getting close once more to Luigi. We see that Omar Barbera closed down the gap once more on Daniele Pasquali. We see the Morningstar Academy team, where we have Danilo and Luigi going in for their second pit stop. Actually, all three drivers are in pits now. Once more, they pit in together for their second pit stop. We see now the Morningstar Academy drivers going out from their second pit stop of today. Danilo Santoro went out of the pits. So now Danilo is in third place, Luigi fourth, and Daniele fifth. We have Omar Barbera now leading the race, and Sandro Zara in second place. It's good to say that the three Morningstar Academy drivers, who are Danilo, Luigi and Daniele, did their second pit stop now. All the other drivers are only on one pit stop till now. So we see Omar Barbera in the lead now. We see also Danilo Santoro closing up on Sandro Zara, Sandro is currently in second place. There we see Sandro defending, but Danilo having the best over Sandro. So now we have Danilo Santoro in second place, Omar Barbera leading the race, and Sandro Zara in third. Now it's the turn of Luigi Di Lorenzo, who's now slipstream with Sandro. And we see also Omar Barbera now going into the pits. So Danilo Santoro is leading the race, Luigi Di Lorenzo in second, third place Sandro Zara, fourth place Daniele Pasquali, who's battling it out with Sandro, and fifth place with Omar Barbera. Once more we see that Omar Barbera lost quite some time to Daniele, and this second pit stop to done. Sandro Zara is now, unfortunately, he went off track there. We see Daniele Pasquali trying to overtake Sandro. Sandro Zara is not an easy driver to overtake. But we see now that Daniele is on the tail of Sandro. Sandro Zara once more going in a defensive move. see Daniele now once more attacking Sandro. They are side by side now, and Daniele Pasquali. You see that Sandro is trying to keep up with Daniele, but Daniele Pasquali is faster than Sandro. You see Sandro not giving up, going now, trying to go side by side with Daniele. But we see now that Daniele managed to overtake Sandro. You see that notice that Omar Barbara lost quite some time in both pit stops to the Morningstar Academy drivers. Now we see Omar coming up to Sandro Zara. Now we see Omar Barbara coming to Sandro Zara. Once more we say Sandro Zara is not an easy driver to overtake. He's a good defensive driver. You see them now side by side. And we see that Omar Barbara now took 4th place from Sandro Zara, and he's now down on the chase for Daniele Pasquali. Let's see in the remaining 14 minutes if Omar Barbara will manage to close the gap with Daniele Pasquali and possibly also try some attacking moves. So Danilo Santoro is leading the race. 2nd place is Luigi Di Lorenzo with a 2-3 second gap from Danilo. And then we see Daniele Pasquali who has a 2.6, 2.8 second gap from Luigi. 4th place is Omar Barbara, who's once more closing down the gap with Daniele. You see also Daniele doing some mistakes and having 2 wheels on the grass. That definitely won't help to keep distance from Omar Barbara. 5th place is Sandro Zara, 6th place Nelson Abrunosa, 7th place Cyril Sossi, 8th place Gianluigi Corrao, 9th place Michael Mercia. As we said earlier, unfortunately Peter Grobler had an accident earlier in the race and he retired. Now we see with Gianluigi Corrao going into pits. It's the 2nd pit stop for Gianluigi. This is Michael Mercia, who is currently in 9th place. Let's say now in 8th place, obviously because Gianluigi Corrao is in pits. So we see now Nelson Abrunosa closing up on Sandro Zara. And there is also Gianluigi Corrao, if I'm not mistaken, behind them. He was already left. Let's see Nelson now, who's on the attack of Sandro. We see 3 cars, and there we see a very close encounter, and unfortunately Sandro Zara is off track, and Nelson Abrunosa took the 5th place from Sandro Zara. We'll have to see this move later from Nelson Abrunosa from our live steward. So, once more, positions Danilo Santoro leading the race, followed by Luigi Di Lorenzo, Daniele Pasquali, Omar Barbara, Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, Cyril Sosi, Michael Merci, and Gianluigi Corrao. We see that the Morningstar Academy team drivers are the first, second, and third, and on 4th place we have also Omar Barbara from GT Omega RPM Esport team. Omar Barbara, who had pole position today, but then obviously lost places in the race, and he lost quite some time during pit stops, where we saw the gap going up to 3.44 seconds from his next car from the Morningstar Academy team. So, we're now with Danilo Santoro, who is currently the leader of the race, followed by his teammate Luigi Di Lorenzo, who is 2.4 seconds away from Danilo. And then we have Daniele Pasquale, who's 1.7 seconds away from Luigi, and Omar Barbara, who's 2.3 seconds away from Daniele. Then we have Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, Cyril Sosi, Michael Merci, and Gianluigi Corrao. We have now 7 minutes left from this race, obviously plus 1 lap also at the end. And now we see Daniele Pasquale closing up on Luigi Di Lorenzo, following a touch between Luigi Di Lorenzo with Cyril Sosi. He was lapping Cyril Sosi. That is why now Daniele Pasquale caught up on him. Still, Luigi is not an easy driver to overtake. There we see them side by side, Morningstar Academy team drivers. Possibly also the car of Luigi Di Lorenzo sustained some damage. that could slow him a little bit down. We see Daniele now side by side with Luigi. They are very hard on braking there. Obviously enough to try and keep that slight advantage, especially for Luigi Di Lorenzo and Daniele. And there we see also Danilo Santoro, who's our current race leader. And we see Daniele Pasquali once more close to Luigi Di Lorenzo. With Daniele going a little bit off track there, because obviously he's giving it all. He's giving all to try and overtake Luigi. So actually the touch from Luigi Di Lorenzo was with Michael Mercia. As we see now, Cyril Sossi going on the side and letting the drivers pass. Very clean move from Cyril there. Now Omar Barbara's coming up also. We see that the gap between the first four drivers is very constant. Obviously enough, Danilo Santoro has built up a great advantage now on Luigi following that slight accident Luigi had, and Daniele Pasquali took the advantage of that slight incident Luigi had, and so now he's just behind Luigi. Let's see Daniele now side by side with Luigi, who will go out first from this corner, and we see them there side by side. Luigi Di Lorenzo is not an easy driver to overtake even, and he managed to defend his position very nicely. And we see now both Morningstar Academy drivers side by side, and now we see also Omar Barbara taking advantage of this battle between teammates, and Omar Barbara is just now behind Daniele Pasquali and Luigi Di Lorenzo. We're gonna definitely have a nice end to this race of today, seeing these drivers battling it out. And we see Daniele Pasquali still trying to overtake Luigi Di Lorenzo when we are 2 minutes away from the end of this race. Obviously 2 minutes plus 1 lap. And Daniele Pasquali took second position on Luigi Di Lorenzo, but Luigi Di Lorenzo is still behind Daniele, and we see also Omar Barbara now going for Luigi Di Lorenzo. So we see now Omar Barbara on the attack of Luigi Di Lorenzo. Will he manage to grab the third place from Luigi in the last minute of this race? We'll have to wait and see. Omar Barbara taking the inner line with Luigi Di Lorenzo. side by side there. Obviously now Luigi Di Lorenzo took the upper hand, and we see Omar not giving up there. A slight touch between the two cars, something that is allowed in these type of races. But we'll see. Omar Barbara again on the attack of Luigi Di Lorenzo. Will he manage to grab the third place in the last few laps of, actually, the last lap, 2 laps of this race? We're seeing definitely a nice ending to this race of the day and ending of this championship here at Watkins Glen Racetrack. We see them once more side by side there. So the leader is on his final lap, where we see Danilo Santoro on his final lap. Today winning this race, the final round, almost winning this race, but he has a good gap on Daniele Pasquale unless he ends up without fuel. But we see Omar Barbara still on Luigi Di Lorenzo. And there we see Danilo Santoro on the last few corners of this race of today. Danilo Santoro. And here we see him winning the race of today, flashing his lights on. And the winner is Danilo, and we see Omar Barbara side by side with Luigi Di Lorenzo on the final straight, and he didn't manage to get, but we saw a nice bet until the end. So Danilo Santoro first place, Danilo Pasquale second, Luigi Di Lorenzo third place, Omar Barbara fourth place, Nelson Abrunosa fifth place. So we see Daniele Pasquale, Danilo Santoro, Daniele Pasquale, Luigi Di Lorenzo, Omar Barbara, Nelson Abrunosa, Sandro Zara, Michael Merci, Gianluigi Corrao e Cyril Sosi. So that was the final round of the World Pro Racing Seat TCR Championship. We saw today Danilo Santoro dominating the race, with Daniele Pasquale finishing in second and Luigi Di Lorenzo in third. So that means that Daniele Pasquale is the winner of also the winner of this championship. Very soon we're going for the interviews with the drivers, so bear with us until we get them in our channel, and we'll be interviewing them very shortly.
Dai, però comunque questa è stata una pista... Raga?
Tosta. Penso siamo in onda, ecco.
Hello. Daniele.
Ciao.
Hello Daniele, Danilo and Luigi. Allora,
Hello.
facciamo al solito che faccio le domande in italiano, poi faccio la traduzione in inglese. So I'll be speaking to them in Italian and doing the English translation afterwards. Allora, cominciamo con Danilo. Oggi Danilo, va bene, non eri al pole, ma hai dominato quasi tutta la gara dall'inizio fino alla fine. Come si sente per aver vinto quest'ultima gara di questo campionato?
Buonasera. La qualifica non sono riuscito non sono riuscito a fare un giro, diciamo, pulito. Ho avuto un po' di difficoltà, soprattutto con le temperature delle gomme che si alzavano alle stelle. Comunque maggiormente in settimana ho provato più il passo gara che la qualifica. E infatti, diciamo, mi sono trovato un po' più in difficoltà in qualifica. In gara sono riuscito subito ad attaccare Daniele, e dopodiché Barbara, e poi ho, diciamo, fatto il mio passo cercando di mantenere, diciamo, una distanza di sicurezza, ecco.
Ok, questo significa pure che sei finito il secondo in campionato, sì?
Sì.
Allora, primo campionato con noi, come ti sei sentito in questo campionato? Ovviamente se ti rivedremo in altri campionati da World Pro Racing.
No, mi sono trovato molto molto bene. Un bel campionato, ben organizzato, e spero che ricapiti un'altra occasione di partecipare con voi, ecco.
Grande Danilo, allora faccio la traduzione.
Grazie.
So I asked actually Danilo what was the how was the race today, about qualifications and about the race. He said that qualifications, obviously he couldn't make a very good qualification because he had the tires warming up very quickly. His training was on this race of today was more on race pace, and obviously it translated in the race pace he had today, and obviously increasing the gap and winning the race of today. I asked him also how he found himself in this championship, first one with World Pro Racing. He said yes, he found himself very well, and he's looking forward to more possible occasions to race with us in the future. Allora andiamo adesso per Daniele e poi ritorniamo da te più tardi. Allora Daniele, secondo posto oggi, come facci sapere sulla qualifica, com'era la qualifica, e passo gara com'era il tuo, perché fino alla fine eri tutto il tempo dietro a Luigi, ma Luigi, se non aveva quel piccolo incidente con credo con Michael Mercia, poteva pure finire al secondo posto della gara di oggi.
Sì, allora, buonasera a tutti. Sì, Danilo, ok, ne aveva di più, e Luigi pure aveva qualcosina in più di me. In qualifica ho fatto un bel giro, però nel passo gara, specialmente da metà stint in poi, soffrivo un po' col consumo delle gomme. Se no, per la prima metà di stint stavo a passo sia con Danilo che con Luigi. Poi vabbè, ci sono state delle belle lotte. Sì, sono arrivato secondo perché Luigi ci ha avuto quel contatto col doppiato, se no arrivavo terzo. E comunque anche Barbara oggi andava parecchio forte, quindi era dura tenere dietro anche lui. E niente, io per i calcoli alla mano, anche se Danilo vinceva, mi bastava arrivare quarto, quindi alla fine sono arrivato anche secondo. Bene così. E niente, ho vinto il campionato.
Sì, per questo ti dico, poi ritorno da te più tardi, dopo aver parlato pure con Luigi, per discutere questo campionato con te.
Okay.
So I asked Daniele how was it, his qualifications and race. He said obviously more drivers had a better, his even teammates had a better race pace than he had today because he was suffering a little bit with tire wear. And also he said Omar Barbara was quite strong today, and so it was good that he managed to go in second place, given that Luigi had that small contact with that with the lab driver, which was I think Michael Mechia. But we'll be speaking with Daniele later on, as he's obviously the winner of this championship this time round. Luigi, ci sei?
Sì, buonasera a tutti.
Buonasera Luigi. Allora, la stessa domanda che ho fatto pure a Danilo e a Daniele, com'era il tempo di qualifica, e ovviamente hai fatto la gara. Una gara bella che sei rimasto in secondo posto fino quasi alla fine, ma poi c'era quel contatto piccolo con Michael Mercia e Daniele ha avuto la meglio su di te finendo secondo.
Esattamente. In qualifica non sono riuscito mai a terminare un giro soddisfacente, ho sempre trovato un po' di traffico. Quando non l'ho trovato ho sbagliato il giro, quindi ho fatto delle brutte qualifiche. Invece la gara molto meglio, il passo era buono. Riuscivo a non mettere in crisi le gomme da metà stint in poi, quindi riuscivo anche a essere un po' più veloce di Danilo, ma si parla di centesimi. E beh sì, poi il piccolo incidente con Marsieka, mi sembra, è stato piuttosto fatale perché insomma mi ha compromesso poi tutto l'andamento della gara, e facendo i conti alla mano poi io qualunque posizione finissi, sempre terzo facevo in campionato, quindi da una parte ho agevolato non all'inizio ma alla fine sì, ho agevolato Daniele per il sorpasso, per non far passare Barbara, almeno ho provato, poi ci sono riuscito insomma nei minuti finali, quindi insomma non avevo grossi obiettivi sinceramente in questa gara.
Grazie Luigi. So basically Luigi said also that during qualification he didn't manage to make a good lap, put together a good lap about traffic, and obviously with some mistakes he did. He said also he had a very good race pace. Then things changed when he had the slight incident with Michael Mercia. Then he gave obviously enough Daniele the space to pass, but and keeping behind also. He managed to keep behind also Omar Barbara, that's finishing third. Obviously enough, taking into account some numbers. He said it wouldn't have changed anything for him for his placing in this championship, also given that he lost, he didn't race in round 5 also. Allora, ritorno da te Daniele, e ovviamente poi devo parlare con voi tre insieme. Daniele,
Sì,
questo campionato, sei il vincitore di questo campionato. Come hai vissuto questo campionato e se ti rivedremo con noi per campionati più futuri?
Allora, no, in questo campionato, oltre ad averlo vinto, quindi la felicità per aver vinto il campionato, no, mi sono anche molto divertito sia per le varie lotte, la macchina, l'organizzazione che mi è piaciuta molto, gli streaming molto ben fatti. Sicuramente in futuro ci rivedremo per qualche altro campionato.
So, grazie Daniele. So he was said that obviously he had fun in this championship. He enjoyed it. It was fun even with the car that we used, and he's looking forward obviously for some future championships to join us in the races. Now, allora, tutti in tre insieme. Morning Stars Academy in questo campionato, primo, secondo e terzo posto. Cosa ci volete dire a noi e quelli che stanno ascoltando o vedendo questa trasmissione di oggi?
No, niente, siamo felici per sia il risultato personale che per quello di squadra. Niente, però non so che altro aggiungere, dire che sono contento.
È un bel risultato pure per il team,
Sì,
avere primo, secondo, terzo posto.
Esatto, l'obiettivo l'abbiamo
tutti
raggiunto.
Sì, tutti gli obiettivi.
Più che contenti.
Un bel gioco di squadra, si dice, sì?
Sì, diciamo sempre con rispetto, senza, diciamo, ci siamo divertiti tra di noi facendo bagare tutto, ovviamente sempre senza esagerare, insomma, ecco. Comunque abbiamo sempre dato il 100% in qualunque lotta, senza ovviamente rovinare la gara dell'altro, perché comunque sia, diciamo, rovinare la gara del compagno di squadra è un po' brutto, ecco. Quindi, però, comunque ci siamo divertiti molto, cioè tantissimo.
So actually what they said, it's like, yes, they did a very, very good team play all together. They drove as a team, and obviously driving as a team gave the result what they have today, first, second and third place. Allora, grazie ragazzi, congratulazioni,
Grazie.
ci vediamo e buonasera a voi.
Buonasera.
So, to those listening to us, this was the last round of the SEAT TCI Championship. Thank you for following us. Thank you for being with us. Hope to see you with us now coming Thursday for the Tatus Team Challenge, and then Friday for the Porsche Challenge. Have a nice evening, and thanks for being with us.
Gigabit Internet is Saf Malta. Gaudi mill Giga Power bis mal Melita Flexi.